Hey everyone, welcome back to another MG Lifestyle Solutions lifestyle review video. Thanks for watching. If it's your first time, welcome. Please subscribe and follow the channel. Today I'm really excited. We're going to be talking about the Kettlebell Kitchen Company. I did a brief video a couple months ago with just one of their meals. This time I signed up for their meal plan service. So for about 3 weeks now, I've been consuming their meals, lunch and dinner, 12 meals a week. So I think I have a pretty good grasp on their quality and the variability and just what they're about as a company. So this video, I'm going to talk about that, give you my honest opinion to help you better decide if this could be something that is useful for you. So here we go. Let's jump in. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the company. So Kettlebell Kitchen is a East Coast based company. Their headquarters are in New Jersey. And yes, even though it's a meal company, food company, they really consider themselves a performance and recovery company. And they do this through the food. So their product is nutrition and food and meal plans, but their goal is to basically help you increase your performance, improve your recovery, to improve your ability to perform whatever activity it is that you do, whether it's gymnastics, CrossFit, track, basketball, whatever physical activity it is that you participate in. They're here to basically help you perform better through nutrition. And hopefully, as you know, that is probably the most important piece when it comes to our health and wellness and getting the results that we want. Yes, activity is a huge piece as well, but I find that the nutrition piece is what we all kind of struggle with more so. And that's really where the results are seen. So like I said, they're an East Coast company and they basically have branches or partnerships in different regions of the country to basically allow you to get your food fresh. It's never frozen, so they're not shipping it from New Jersey. They have, I guess, kitchens or partners in different regions to meet their demand. As a business, I think they recognized that with nutrition, there isn't one answer that's gonna fix everyone's problems, right? So the fact that they have 10 different meal plan options is huge. I think the biggest limiting factor in some other companies is that they're very specific to maybe just one one direction in terms of their nutrition plan, whether it be keto specific, paleo specific, or Atkins or whatever, right? That's one kind of mentality to follow. And these companies stick to that and it works for them and it works for many people, but it doesn't work for everyone, right? So I think Kettlebell Kitchen recognized that and has done a good job, from my understanding, at really being broad and covering the needs of many. So they have a slim plan, a burn plan, a build plan, a pure paleo, perform, vegetarian, flexitarian, endure, complete keto, and whole 30. So that really covers the spectrum of pretty much everything except for, I guess, vegan, right? So I guess vegetarian would cover vegan. I think it's important to note that vegan is more of a lifestyle that goes beyond food. So that's something to consider when we're talking about all the different options, if you will. But anyways, so with those different plans, there's specific, caloric demands, and obviously the options in food are going to vary based on what category you're in there. Again, another great thing is that when you create a profile, when you create a meal plan, you're putting in your gender, your height, your weight, your activity level, how often you exercise, what time of day you typically exercise, different lifestyle things like that, to better build a personalized meal plan for you. And something they also offer, which is huge, is a 30-minute nutritional consult with one of their nutritionists. So again, kind of go through a more personalized meal plan if that's something that you need. If you're really trying to fine-tune things, then that's what they give you that as long as you're signed up for a meal plan. Which I think is super unique. I haven't heard of that before, and I think that's a smart service to provide for longevity of members and people using their product. All right, so let's jump in and talk about the logistics of how to basically use their product, right? So create an account, you figure out what meal plan you think might work for you, right? Based on what your goals are, whether you're looking to lose weight, build muscle, try a lifestyle or try more like keto or paleo-esque, lifestyle, if you will, and meal plan based off of that. So you pick that after putting in your demographics and your characteristics. You can either let them pick the meal for you for the week, and I guess that depends on if you're doing 6 meals a week, 12 meals a week, or more, based on, if you want to do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or just lunch and dinner. That's up to you. You can pick all of that, and then once you do that, you can either let them choose the meals each week, or you can go in and change, adjust, whatever. You have full control over that. You just have to make sure that you do that before midnight on every Wednesday. So that's pretty cool. So there's that flexibility, or you can trust them in picking what they feel you need based on the information that you provided them, right? So that's pretty sweet. Just another step that you don't have to think about. Let's see. So once that happens, you choose whether you get it delivered. So you can get it delivered to your house, or you can pick it up at one of their affiliate locations. Basically, they put a fridge in gyms or clinics or different areas, even office buildings, where you can go and your food will get delivered there, and you pick it up when it's convenient to you, as long as that facility is open, of course. So those are the two options. If you get it delivered to your home or wherever, that's more individual delivery. They do charge for that, whereas if you just pick it up from one of their refrigerators, that is free. So that's huge, and that really allows it to be a little bit more cost friendly. And of course, right, so if you do, in my case, I was doing 12 meals a week. So they deliver half the meals on Monday and then half the meals on Thursday for me. So I would get Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 2 meals a day. And then on Thursday, I would get my Thursday, Friday, Saturday meals. And then Sunday, I was on my own. Okay. So that's what I chose to do. And for the past 3 weeks, we'll talk about how that has worked. And they do that because the meals are never frozen. They try to get them to you as fresh as possible. The ingredients are changing. The meals are changing every week. To really, keep it fun and different for you. You could eat chicken and rice and asparagus every day, and you'll, lose weight or make gains based on the caloric demands. But, it's a bit boring, and we'll get sick of it, and we'll probably... we won't sign up for the next week or whatever, right? So they do a great job in providing a pretty big, pretty large variability in their food, to a degree, and we'll chat about that more later. All right, so next I want to jump into talking about the individual meals and give you my review on the quality and the taste, whatnot, of some of the meals. Obviously, this video will be a little too long if I talk about all the meals. But I'll give you my general opinion, okay? So basically every meal that I've had, I've either consumed cold or in the microwave, just based on time management and, having to preheat the oven. I just haven't done that yet. I probably should, just in terms of overall health. Microwaving food all the time, not ideal, right? But again, I don't mind eating it cold. So that's up to you, right? Okay, so pretty much all these meals I've microwaved for 2 to 3 minutes and it does the job pretty well. And nice thing is, I've only had a couple meals where it's dried out the chicken. For the most part, all the meat stays, well cooked and not dried, even after a microwave. And I've microwaved it at work, I've microwaved it at home, 2 different microwaves, and still the same outcome. Whereas some microwaves, you never know how powerful they are and whatnot. Let's talk about a few meals that I really liked, and then 1 or 2 meals that were, so-so or maybe even disliked. All right, so let's talk about the meals that I enjoyed, which are most of them, but I'm going to pick out a few. All right, so I took notes on all these meals just so I would remember. All right, so for instance, this was a keto Cuban roasted pork. Again, I microwaved it for 3 minutes. This was pretty high in calories. We're talking 860 calories with the sauce. And again, remember, it's keto, so it's higher in fat, and that's why we're getting a lot more calories there. But I thought the pork tasted great, and the sauce had a really nice kind of spicy flavor and kick to it that just kind of brought everything together. So that was one of my favorites. Here we have the athlete's barbacoa and the yuca fries, or the yuca mash, whatever it was, I don't know, but this was one of my favorites for sure. There was a couple of meals that were similar in this week that were both great. The texture was good of the mash, it was the yuca mash, so yep. And again, the meat was well cooked, and it was a just good overall flavor combo. Let's see, what's this one? The plantain beef lasagna. So that was a unique one, very different, but overall kind of met my needs, and I liked it taste-wise. Obviously, the plantains made it a bit sweet, so that beef and meat, the beef and sweet kind of combo was different, but just right. Because they used some kale and some root veggies to really cut down that sweetness a little bit. So they definitely thought that through. And then, all these were more than filling for sure. And then I think let's see, which is this one. Yeah, so again, the beef barbacoa was my favorite so far. And this time they use parsnip fries. So again, they use kind of some unique sides that are kind of root vegetable based, to kind of feed those cravings of maybe some potatoes or regular fries. And I think that these substitutes do a great job. Again, I microwaved it for 3 minutes. Flavor was great, wasn't dry. This is one I could eat daily, is what I noted here. And because it's shredded, there were a couple of dry spots with the meat, but the flavor and everything else kind of made up for it. And this one, I guess I might have over microwaved it a little bit, and that could have dried it out. So this was one you could easily eat cold too, without it being an issue. All right, so since this is an honest, really unsolicited review, I'm going to talk about some of the dislikes. So initially, my wife and I both tried it, and she didn't really like the meal selection. She only tried 6 of them, and she just didn't meet her needs, and she just wasn't thrilled with the overall flavor. And there were a couple meals that I did agree with, and one of those is the General Tso's, paleo chicken, and all those versions of that. So they had like Athletes, General Tso's, Tao's, whatever. I don't even know how to say it, but just trying to make something unhealthy healthy. I just didn't like it. The flavor wasn't there for me either. So this is one that I'm just going to choose not to order, and just make sure that when it comes up again to change it for something that I did like, because there were plenty of those as well. And then, they're also, not that they're bad, but there's definitely meal options on here, like the Bodybuilder's Essential with white rice, right? So basically it's chicken breast, white rice, and asparagus. So it's just, I've done that in the past. I know like that's a great meal and it's useful and it gets you results, but when you're paying for a service like this, do you want a little bit more? I felt like I did. I felt a little underwhelmed, but again, end result, and there was another meal that kind of made up for it, so not a big deal. But just something to be aware of, that they do offer some pretty basic meal options, which are clean and healthy and will get you what you're looking for. But just know, it definitely something that you can easily make on your own, something that I used to make on my own. So that's why I was a little again, underwhelmed. It tasted fine, tasted, like white rice and asparagus and grilled chicken. And, it was, again, the good thing is that it was cooked well. The asparagus was cooked well. It's an easy thing to mess up, either undercook or overcook. And it was filling, so it did what it had to do. All right, so as you can see, this isn't just a random wardrobe change. I am having to do this video in multiple days, but either way, here we go. Let's go back into it. So we're talking about some of the dislikes I potentially had with the service. Pretty much covers it. I want to jump into just the variability and selection of the food throughout the weeks. So Friday morning here, so gotta get my coffee. I will say that in each week there is a good amount of repetition of certain items. So for instance, there may be zucchini noodles early in the day, or early in the week, sorry. And then they'll have chopped, roasted zucchini, and then there might be some other form, maybe zucchini fries or sticks or whatever they call them, right? So they kind of reuse a lot of the similar food items within a week, just served and prepared differently. And they do throw in some different flavoring as well to change it up. But I know for me personally, I did get a little sick of the zucchini just because it's generally a fairly bland vegetable, even though, again, they do a good job in adding other sides to kind of make up for that, whether it's onions or tomatoes or a few like root vegetables as well. So I think they do make up for that, but just something to be aware of. Next, we're going to talk about the packaging and how it's delivered, or how it's presented. But before I do that, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, will help me out grow the channel, and I'd really appreciate that. But yeah, so initially when I signed up, I was getting them delivered to the office, and that counted as a home delivery because there wasn't a fridge there at the time. So they do deliver the meals in these nice insulated bags. And they have a nice big ice pack in there that kept the meals cold. Now I will say that it is winter here in Boston, and that definitely helped keep the meals cold. So when they came, I would run out to my car, throw them in my car, and with the ice pack and it being cold winter, everything was fine. If that was the summer, I don't think that ice pack would have lasted me my whole work day, because they do get delivered in the morning. And yeah, we still have a little fridge, but I'm not going to take up the whole fridge with my 6 meals, but it'd be a little inconsiderate, right? However, now that we have a Kettlebell pickup location at the office in Melrose, they come in like this. Obviously, this saves them some money, which is great. It's fine. You don't need an insulated bag when the food is being delivered to a nice industrial fridge. And it includes the meals, so you can take a look at what you should be eating on the specific days, lunch and dinner, as I'm doing here. But either way, it's still a nice quality bag actually. So if you did have to grab it and walk home or take the tea or whatever, this is gonna hold up well. Nice string, obviously some nice advertisement. All right. In regards to the actual meal container, okay, this is how they come, all of the meals. Mine are large, so the container's a bit deeper. Some of the leaner meals you're gonna get a little bit more shallow container, but in terms of size, in terms of the rectangle size is, I think, pretty standard. So what you do, you take it out of the sleeve, and this whole thing can either be microwaved or go in the oven. If it comes with a sauce, you have to take that little separate container out, just because that's not meant to go be heated. This right here is one of my favorite meals. I'll be having this for lunch or dinner, I'm not sure which today. But this is pretty, this is filling, right? This is gonna fill me up pretty well. And then it has directions right on here. So if you're gonna microwave it, keep the cover on, and you're gonna heat it for 2 to 4 minutes. And then if we're gonna put it in the oven, we're gonna preheat for 350 degrees, uncovered for 6 to 8 minutes. So again, twice as long, but I did throw it in the oven the other day, and I think it does taste better. Just gives you that more home-cooked meal feel. But in addition, so on the back side, this gives you all the nutrients and nutritional facts. And one of the nicest things a really nice thing that they did was include the caloric content of the sauce, if that's applicable to the meal. Because a lot of these sauces are, they're all natural and like homemade sauces, if you will, and they tend to have a lot of fat content. So, and you can choose to either have it or not have it based on how many calories you want. So they'll include calories they'll include the total calories for the meal with the sauce, and then they'll give you the nutritional facts for just the sauce. And then you can do the math, subtract it from the meal, and then you can get your calories without the sauce if you choose to. Which sometimes comes in handy, because the other day I had a little bit more calories than I probably should have prior to my last kettlebell meal. And by not having that sauce, I was able to cut out a whole 200, almost 300 calories by not consuming that sauce. So that's a difference. That's enough of a difference, whether you're gaining or losing, to add up through the week. And then the nice thing too, this is completely compostable. So you can, if that's something you're into, very, very friendly to the environment. All right, guys, so the moment you've been waiting for, let's talk about the finance, the money behind all of this, okay? As you all know, time is money, all right? So we have to take that into consideration as well. So for the meals that I've been ordering, all right, let's review. I've been getting 2 meals a day, Monday through Saturday, with Sunday, no meals unless I save one or go out during the week, and I kind of carry it over to Sunday if I have one. But regardless, so that's 12 meals a week, and depending on whether you do medium, whether you do large, that's going to vary the price a little bit. So my first order. All right, so I pulled up my order history on my account, and I can see every order that was shipped so far. And so the first order we had was for 18 meals total between myself and my wife, and that came to $246.61. And then now that I'm doing it myself, the orders have ranged from 170 to 188 to the lowest, I believe, has been 168.94. That's after tax and all that jazz. So, and that was for 12 meals. So how does that compare? And obviously that's not the only food I'm eating, right? So that's per week. So it's not cheap, that's for sure. And then, for breakfast, basically I've been consuming a couple eggs, some fruit, avocado, and typically some kind of protein, whether it be leftover chicken or chicken sausage or bacon or something along those lines. So in addition, we've definitely still had to go to the supermarket and buy some food, but the trips are more like maybe $30 to $50 based on, and I'm just counting the food that I would consume, just because obviously my wife isn't doing it as well. So there is that drawback that obviously we're still doing shopping just so she can eat. But I try to figure out from the receipts basically how much of that in addition I am consuming in addition to the Kettlebell meals, right? So and it's not $30 an additional a week, it's probably 30 to 50 bi-weekly, roughly, right? So in addition to the, let's say, 170 a week that I'm currently spending on the meals. However, I am not cooking, cleaning, I'm not really shopping, and I'm not really thinking about my meals. So the amount of time, between going to the store, if it's a busy time, there's an hour to an hour and a half, then getting the food, prepping it, cooking it, separating into your meals, that's at least another hour, hour and a half, right? So let's say that's 2 to 3 hours right there of your valuable time in your day. Yes, you can cook on Sundays for maybe half of the week or the whole week. But again, that's still 3 hours or more in your week that you could apply somewhere else, regardless if it's something productive with work, spending time with your kids, family, just relaxing, not stressing about having to cook. Whatever it is, I'm sure you can find a positive way to utilize those 3 hours or more. Definitely cut down on the dishes that we have, and that's another plus. So taking that into consideration, how expensive or how valuable are those 3 hours to you compared to maybe saving money by, going shopping and doing the whole thing yourself. So it's a personal decision that you have to consider and weigh out. Right now, for my lifestyle, my time, my schedule, this has been huge, and I really have been enjoying it, and I think I will definitely continue. And one criticism that I hear is like, oh well, I enjoy cooking, I enjoy food's a big part of our family and we love cooking. Well, great, fine. So don't do a 12 meal plan. You can always do 2 meals a week, or whatever that added assistance might be for you, just to make things a little easier, a little less stressful. It can be super individual, and that's one of the things that I like as well. So some other financial things to consider, at least personally, that we have experienced in the past is, so what is the food bill if we were to go shopping and not have the Kettlebell service, right? So depends where you go. Obviously, if you go to a Stop and Shop versus a Market Basket, if you have something like that in your area, maybe a Big Y, versus a Whole Foods or a Wegmans, obviously your check is going to vary. So typically, we could go anywhere from 150 trip all the way up to 250, 270, maybe even 300. Right? How long does that last? Yeah, obviously that's not every week for us. There's 3 of us, and one is still on the bottle. so for now it's just the 2, right? So typically that could last us for a couple weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. However, I will say that we tend to sometimes waste food if we're not super productive, we're not active on cooking, or life happens and we just forget to cook something and it just sits there. Sometimes stuff gets wasted, and this service has really allowed us to cut back on that, because there's just less overall cooking. We're not buying as much food, being more aware of that. So I think it's helped tremendously with cutting down waste, which is just a positive overall. All right, everyone, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, just make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and as always, follow me on Instagram at MG Lifestyle Solutions. For any questions, feel free to comment or reach out through email, whether it be Kettlebell Kitchen or any other health and wellness topic that I may or may not have discussed in the past. So thanks, and I hope to see you guys in the next video.